What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're here to talk about my experience with GameHub on my Retroid Pocket 5. GameHub is an application for Android devices that lets you download and emulate your PC games. Is this application any good, and should you download it on your RP5, or is this a complete waste of time? Now, I know many other bigger YouTubers have covered this application on Android devices such as Retro Gamecore. Shout out to Russ, the big daddy of emulation. Also, Ryan Retro and Cyber Tokyo. Now, they had very good results in their videos of downloading their games and playing them, but I did not have the best experience. If I sound a little negative there, it's because I was not having the best experience. I was having a really hard time getting the application to run and run the games properly. All the games were crashing. They weren't running like they were supposed to be running. There was a file located in the wrong place, and it was basically destroying my performance in the application itself. So I had to reboot the entire system. I deleted everything. I'm guessing it had to do with something I was emulating. Maybe I put a file somewhere I wasn't supposed to. I returned everything to stock settings, rebooted the device, and now everything is running properly. So I have had better performance overall in all of these games. I would say this video is a bit more real life scenario when it comes to how you're going to play these games. I don't know if you guys are really going to play them on a device like this. You will get better performance overall in a more powerful device than what the Retroid Pocket 5 is running with the Snapdragon 865. Also, just be aware the creators of the GameHub application are a Chinese company. So just be aware whenever you are allowing the device to see where your location is, if you don't want GameHub or that Chinese company to see where you are located, obviously don't allow it to. I usually just select to allow while I'm using the app, just not all the time. It's up to whoever uses the application. I really don't mind, just something I thought you should know. Also, there is an alternative option to using the application GameHub to play your PC games, and it's called Winlator. Now, some people do prefer to use Winlator to play their PC games on the RP5. I'm not one of those people. I've heard there's too much tinkering in this application. Also, doesn't look awesome. I think it's not very user friendly. I just think GameHub as an application, it's much more user friendly and it looks awesome. You could see the art for all the games, background images, search for games. Visually looks much more impressive than Winlator. So now, before we get into all the games I played and tried on the application, I'm guessing you guys are wondering, if you haven't seen already, how to download the application on the RP5. How do you download GameHub? Let's get into that now. So in case you guys want to try this out for yourselves, I'm going to show you how to download GameHub. You're going to want to go to the Chrome browser here on your Retroid Pocket. Break the boundaries, play without limits. GameHub, of course, that's gamehub.xiaoji.com. We're going to hit that button, Android download. I've already downloaded this. That's why that says download file again. We're going to hit download, let that file finish downloading. Once that says the file has finished downloading, you're going to want to hit open. And from there, select that file and select install. Let that finish installing. You could either open the application or select done. We're just going to exit out of here so that you can see how that application looks. There is the application of GameHub. We're going to open that up. And from here, we're going to see the user agreement and privacy policy. We have to agree to this to use the application. Welcome to GameHub. We're going to sign in with our email. We're going to need to check that little box down there. Just check to agree, then select email again. Put in your email here so that you get a code to sign into the application. Then just input the code here. Our code is 108632. You could turn on your message notifications here if you want to. You don't have to. And look at how this looks. GameHub looks really nice, much better than Winlator. It's a much better looking experience overall. Up here we have our PC link, our PS5 link, and of course we could sign in to Steam here, which we will do. You could input your login and password here if you want to. If you don't trust GameHub, it is a Chinese company, so you could just sign in with the QR code, which is what I am going to do here. So here we are on my phone, about to open up my camera so we could scan that QR code. If I could get my Retroid Pocket 5 up, and here we are on Steam, and now we are approving, and we are signed into Steam now. As you see here, my account, SJ Ultimatum, with a total of 1,111 games, with my duration of play, my account value, which is in a different currency for some reason. All my Steam games are here. I am pretty sure you cannot play all of these through GameHub, but a lot of these are playable on GameHub, especially games that aren't that demanding. Check out that compatibility list on Ryan Retro's channel. I will leave the link in the description for it. You're going to want to scroll down, go to Retroid Pocket 5, scroll down again, and here we will have the game compatibility for many tabs here. We're going to want to go to GameHub, of course, and here is the list. We have about 11 pages. Your game resolution, your driver, DXVK version, VKD 3D version, and just some extra notes for each game. Then you could go to the perfect tab and you see 6 pages of games that run perfectly, games that run great, games that are playable, also unplayable. So make sure to check out Ryan Retro's channel. Like I said, there is one thing I'm going to say, not all of these settings work for everyone for some reason. Some of the settings didn't work for me on certain games. We'll get into that in a bit. And one of the games that it didn't work for me was here, Dead Space, perfect 60 FPS out of the gate. I started the game with all these settings and the game just crashed on me. It would not start, it would freeze. Basically what I had to do was make sure the Retroid Pocket was in high performance mode. Of course, that always helps out in every application. Then go into the in-game options, then go to visuals, and then you want to change the graphic quality to medium. This is what was making the game crash. Having it on high for some reason breaks the game. After I did those two things, the game was running very smoothly between 50 to 60 frames per second. This is the 2008 original, not the remake. This game was created by Glenn Schofield, drawing inspiration from the video game, of course, Resident Evil 4, which I do love, and films like Event Horizon and Solaris. This is a science fiction survival horror game. You take on the role of Isaac Clarke, controlling him from a third-person perspective. You will navigate level-based sections of the spaceship Ishimura. If you haven't played Dead Space yet, you need to do so. There is a more modern version of the game with that remake that released on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, of course PC. You could play it that way. It's a perfect 10 out of 10. One of the best, if not the best, survival horror game ever made. I have played this game so many times, so playing it here on the Retroid Pocket 5, it's running between 50 to 60 frames per second. It was fun to go back to this for a bit. Made me a little sad because we don't really see games like this anymore, you know, really high quality, high caliber games. A perfect 10 out of 10. Metro 2033 Redux says runs simply brilliant out of the box, 60 FPS. Again, I ran it with these settings and the game just kept crashing on me. I didn't know what to do until I made sure the compatibility layer was on Proton 9.0-ARM 64x-3. Also, I went into the game options, then I changed the quality to medium. This will give you an overall better experience and give you better frames per second. But even with changing these things, you still will not get 60 frames per second. I don't know if there's other things I can do to change this. This was all I could do to make the game run. And I'll definitely take 30 to 40 FPS. That is all right with me. Have you guys ever played Metro 2033? This game is really great. I love the Metro series with Last Light and Exodus. I want to say Exodus is my favorite one. This is probably my least favorite, but still a very good game. I truly enjoy a first-person shooter that has a dedicated story mode. This game was originally released in 2010. Metro 2033 Redux is part of that remaster with Last Light, and this was developed by 4A Games and published by THQ, or IP of course, because THQ no longer exists. Metro 2033 takes place in the city of Moscow, Russia, 20 years after a global nuclear holocaust in 2013. Moscow has become a wasteland filled with killer mutants and irritated air and is uninhabitable for humans without protective gear. I'm really surprised that this game actually runs on the RP5. I'm guessing something like Metro Exodus would never run on this, but still, Metro 2033 is no slouch when it comes to being a graphical powerhouse. This game looks amazing, even here on the RP5. Before we get into playing the 2013 reboot of Tomb Raider, let's go into those PC game settings. I did follow all of the settings that are on the Ryan Retro website for Tomb Raider. 720p compatibility layer, we're running on Proton 9.0 ARM64X-3. GPU driver is Turnip version 25.3.0 slash or underscore R7. For the DXVK version, we have v2.6.2-1 minus async. Then VKD3D version, we have Proton-2.14.1. Then we want to make sure we run that on high performance mode. Let's see if the game actually works with all of the settings on the Ryan Retro website. And the game crashed. Let's just run it again and another crash. So what do we do here? You're going to want to change it back from that Proton 9.0 ARM64X-3 back down to Proton 9.0 X64-3. That's basically what was crashing it. You're going to want to move the mouse with the touchscreen, select play, and we're in the game. We're shooting arrows. It's running perfectly between 30 to 45 frames per second. Pretty good performance. You definitely need to play this Tomb Raider. This is my favorite from that trilogy of games that came out recently from the Tomb Raider franchise. I have probably replayed this game 10 times or so. I love it. The shooting mechanics, the climbing, the acting is a little weird. It's not the best. The actress from Grey's Anatomy that plays Joe is the voice actor for Laura in this game. Definitely play it on the RP5 with GameHub. Hollow Knight. So how do you play this game? All you gotta do is download it, of course, wait for that to install. Then after it's fully installed, you could go ahead and try to launch it, but the game will not launch. Now, why does it do that? You might come across this. Go to the PC game settings, head down to Steam. You're going to want to change that Steam client to lightweight mode. A lot of games do this for some reason, and after you change that setting, the game will now launch. Now, this is one of the best games to play on the GameHub application with the RP5. The game runs at about 50 to 60 frames per second, and it runs amazingly on this application. And if you want to play some Hollow Knight right now, because the sequel is very popular, Silksong, of course, play some Hollow Knight, man. It looks amazing. It really pops on that AMOLED screen. This was the first time I ever played Hollow Knight. I've never played this game before. I'm pretty sure I own this on basically every platform, but for some reason I've just never played it. I've heard this is a very difficult game. For sure, we'll get into Hollow Knight in the next couple of years, especially with Silksong releasing recently. I really want to play that as well, and I can't play Silksong without playing the original, right? Hollow Knight released back in 2017. It's a Metroidvania. This game was developed and published by an Australian indie team, Team Cherry. And so far from what I played, I'm really enjoying the game. It's so crazy how they just announced and released Silksong in like the span of 2 weeks. It really goes to show just how much respect this indie team has from their fans. People were just waiting to buy Silksong, and they did. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Let's go into the PC game settings. Go down to the Steam settings. Steam client version. Let's change that to lightweight mode. That's the only way the game will run here on GameHub. Also, let's change that performance to high performance, and the game is very playable once you do this. Metal Gear Rising was very playable out of the box. Just downloaded it, changed those two things, and the game was running so good. The high performance mode on the RP5, of course, will help the game improve the performance by about 10% or so. It'll give you about 5 to 10 more frames per second. So the game is running between 30 to 40 frames per second, which is very good for me. This game was released in 2013 and was published by Konami and developed by Platinum Games, the creators of Bayonetta. And you could really see that in the gameplay here. This is a true hack and slash game. The melee combat in the game is very fast and kinetic. This, of course, is a spin-off to the other Metal Gear Solid games, and you play as Raiden or Raiden, however you want to say it. Raiden has the ability to parry enemy attacks and enter Blade Mode. Blade Mode lets you hack and slash your enemies to pieces. So if you are a fan of the other Metal Gear Solid games, or if you are a fan of Bayonetta or games like Devil May Cry, definitely try this out, especially on the Retroid Pocket 5 with GameHub. It runs amazingly. Castlevania Lords of Shadow, released in 2010, developed by Mercury Steam and published by Konami. This is a reboot of the Castlevania series. Set in Southern Europe, the game focuses on Gabriel Belmont and his quest to defeat a malevolent order known as the Lords of Shadow and resurrect his wife. This is a third-person action-adventure game that has very similar combat to the God of War titles from the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 3 generation. If you are a fan of the God of War titles on PlayStation 2, you need to play this game. It's amazing combat-wise. It's very fun. Do not play Lords of Shadow 2. That game is just trash. I completely fell in love with Lords of Shadow. The story and everything that happens leading up to that ending with Gabriel Belmont and what he becomes on the Retroid Pocket 5 with GameHub. You don't really have to do much to play it. It's basically just download and play. You might have to change the Steam client, like I said with some previous games, into lightweight mode, and then just put that RP5 in high performance mode and you should be good. Runs amazing on the Retroid Pocket 5. Now we are going to get into Resident Evil 4, the greatest game of all time. Well, it's my favorite game of all time, and I think this is one of the best, if not the best, survival horror game, up there with Dead Space. And everything seems good with the game. Starting it, I just downloaded it and started the game. Didn't have to really change anything, but once we get into the gameplay, you'll see there's something off about it. It's running at about 25 to 30 frames per second. It just seems like it's slowed down, like you're moving through a jar of Vaseline. It's too slow. I would not consider this to be playable, but I just wanted to show the game here because, of course, I love Resident Evil. And if you want to play like this, I guess you can. There might be something you could do with the graphical settings to change something and make it more playable, but until someone figures out a solution to this game, it says it's supposed to be running perfectly, but it's not really. I wouldn't really say this is perfect. Really fun shooting these Ganados in slow motion, even though I missed there a couple of times. But yeah, Resident Evil 4, you definitely need to play RE4. Maybe not on here though. Adventures of Pip. To get this game to launch, we're going to want to go to the PC game settings, scroll down to the Steam settings there. The Steam client version, you're going to want to change that to lightweight mode. That is the only way that this game will launch. If you have something else selected, it just doesn't launch at all. This game was developed and published by TikTok Games. And as you see there, we're getting a very stable 50 to 60 frames per second. This game runs amazingly on GameHub. This is a 2D platformer released in 2015. And you play as, you guessed it, Pip, a single pixel born into a world of high-res and low-res characters. Throughout the game, Pip receives the ability to become an 8-bit hero and later a 16-bit hero. Each evolution has its advantages and disadvantages. You must switch between Pip's evolutions to complete each level. And honestly, this is one of my favorite 2D platformers. It's amazing. It's a very fun game. I played it back in 2018, and I'm shocked that no one ever talks about this game. I think it's a top tier 2D platformer, and the game really pops on the screen. You really need to try this out. If you have this, if you own it on Steam, you really need to try it out on your Retroid Pocket 5 with GameHub. One of the smaller titles we will be covering today is Shank. Now, of course, we want to change those settings, the PC game settings, head down to Steam and change that to lightweight mode. Now, this will help actually run the game. The game does not run if you do not change that setting. Now, here we are running Shank. And we basically got a stable 60 frames per second on this game. Of course, if the game chugs for you, make sure to kick that RP5 into high performance mode. But this is a smaller game, so I'm guessing that's why it's running perfectly here on the RP5. This is a 2D side-scrolling hack and slash game with a very distinctive art style. Shank features melee and ranged combat as well as acrobatic gameplay. The game tells the tale of the ex-hitman Shank and his quest for revenge in the single-player campaign. The game was originally released in 2010 and later came to Steam in 2011. Shank is one of those games that always comes to mind for me because of that era of gaming. Always seeing it on my cross media bar back on my PS3. So definitely play it. It has an awesome art style. So is GameHub worth downloading on your Retroid Pocket 5? I'm gonna say yes and no. Yes, because GameHub is a better experience overall than Winlator. Also, it's completely free. All you have to do is download it, which is very simple, and you need a Steam account and digital games on Steam. But that's only if you want to import your games through Steam on the actual application, GameHub. It's a nice alternative if you don't feel like sitting at your desk and playing on your PC. And I'm gonna say no because the Retro Pocket 5 is very limited with that Snapdragon 865. It won't be able to handle your entire Steam library. Your games will obviously run much better on a dedicated gaming PC with better performance overall and higher resolutions. So are you going to download GameHub on your Retro Pocket? Make sure to let me know in the comments below. The Retro Pocket 5 is one of the best deals in gaming and is the gift that keeps on giving. With emulation, you could basically play any system on this thing up to PlayStation 3, Nintendo Switch, and now PC games. So many games on the Retroid Pocket 5, it's insane. So make sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like it. Thank you very much for watching the video. It means the world to me, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.